Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Jen here, and today we're going to do the December Shop My Stash. I'm quite excited to switch out my November products. I really am kind of over seeing those things on my dresser right now, so we're going to make some changes. This month, I am definitely not going to pull in quite as many products as I normally do. It's not like I bring in like a ton of products every single month, but I just felt like last month in terms of lipsticks, I was just not wearing them as often. So I think cutting back on products will definitely help me use what I have more and just get overall better use out of everything. So maybe it's time to like lower my expectations a little bit or get in line with how I actually like to wear my makeup and line things up a little bit better. How I pick products out is I have all my products written in a little book, and I check off all the products that I bring in every single month, and the products that don't have check marks kind of get priority the next month. I always try to pick out like some neutral colors that I can wear on an everyday basis, as well as some pops of color. I also am interested in tallying all my products this month. I've only done that for Project 10 uses. So I want to try doing that even just for Shop My Stash to make sure that I am actually using all my stuff and kind of be aware of what I'm not wearing as much. So I think that'll really help that part of it. Also, I do like to kind of go over the products from last month, give some quick thoughts, and go over any like notes or revelations that I had. And you guys might be interested in that because it reinforces the fact that Shop My Stash can change your mind about like products that you have, things that you think you don't like, you might actually love, or vice versa. Let's just get started. So these are all of the Shop My Stash products from last month, and just some quick notes. The ColourPop eyeshadows that I was questioning a little bit how much I liked them, turns out I love them. They're awesome. I think they're so pretty. I especially love this gold color. Get Lucky. I just loved how this looked with black eyeliner. I have to be careful with this because it can get really dark really quickly. This is the shade Mooning. This gold leaf shade as well, I really loved, by Bare Minerals. The NYX Girl Talk eyeshadow, which I also really enjoyed. Shades like this, I do enjoy pulling in because they're very versatile and I feel very comfortable wearing these most days. CoverGirl blushes. I am trying to pan the one in the middle, right? So there's that. And then the other two I also pulled in to use because I kind of ignored them for the better part of the year. They're not really exceptional. No one really talks about them too much, but they're nice. You know what I mean? Like some days you don't want really heavy blush on, and that's kind of why I like these. There's still a little bit of pigment there, so they're not completely worthless, but I like that you can build it up a little bit. So they're fine. I haven't really worn black eyeliner too often in the past few months, and I always forget how much I love wearing black eyeliner. That was always kind of a staple for me. And I also have this MAC blush, which I love as well. This is called Earth to Earth. This is a limited edition blush that I got from Cosmetics Company. And I'm sure they still have cosmetics companies around where you can get discounted like limited edition products. I always really like this, still like it. I had to make myself use this at least twice this month. It definitely goes on a lot lighter than how it appears. So there's that. Shale is another awesome eyeshadow, obviously by MAC. I loved using this in the crease. It was really pretty, enjoyable. Loved using that. The old version of the Comfort Zone palette, and I only brought it in for this last shade over here. This actually turns up on me a lot more like tannish red than it does blue. You don't really see the blue a heck of a lot. So you can make it out a little bit, but it definitely looks a lot more reddish brown. Just so interesting. Well, here you can kind of see a little bit of that shimmer, but again, like swatches are one thing and the way you put them on your eyes is completely different sometimes. So if you were curious what that looked like. Oh, here's a big one. So the Betty Luminizer bronzer, thinking I was going to declutter this. Turns out this is awesome. I love this, and I'm shook that I actually love this as much as I did. I just love how it comes up on the cheeks. It turns up really well. Normally, like super heavily pigmented bronzers can be kind of scary. You can watch the last video. I was all like, I don't know if I like this, blah, blah, blah. I love this. I'm ready to rotate this out. This is the Revolution Contour palette. I'm not quite sure, but usually when I pull this in, it's for the bronzers only, but I did get some use out of the top, so that was really cool. Not for the highlighters as much this month, but for the two in the middle. And here we have the Too Faced I Believe in Pink palette, which is actually part of a set that I got for Christmas. And normally I know Too Faced has some really shady type of holiday releases where the quality isn't that good. I don't really have a problem with this. I can only speak on this particular collection, but I've enjoyed these. They're pretty good. I really love this color in the corner here. I got to use this blush at least twice. It looks really scary, but it actually goes on really pretty. I wouldn't myself go out and buy Too Faced palettes at this point. I'm not really into their whole vibe and the whole scene, but I really have enjoyed this collection. Here, of course, are the lipsticks that just didn't get as much use as I was hoping they would, except for this one. This, of course, though, is a neutral color, Maybelline's Baddest Beige. I really enjoy this, and I find this very user-friendly most days, and it goes well with different eye looks, and of course, I mix that with different colors. But this month, I maybe wore everything about twice, which isn't too bad, I guess, if you're just trying to simply get use out of it or simply use them at all. Hopefully we do better this month. I don't know, maybe I won't pull in as much. So there's that. The top shelf here is all of my nude lipsticks. My lips are quite red and I like to have a neutralizing lip color. So let's see, a whole bunch of lip pencils here. Back here, no, I'm gonna pull out this Wet n Wild lipstick in the shade Bare It All. I'm sure anybody who's familiar with these Wet n Wild lipsticks is very familiar with how crappy the packaging is. I'm not a fan. I just recently cleaned this. It looked pretty bad before. Yeah, packaging means a lot to me. Like, both for how it looks, yes, but also like practical reasons. Like, I don't want my lipstick falling apart on me. I don't want it touching stuff. The lipstick's broken. I can't really twist it up all the way or it will fall out. This comes off as sort of like a peachy nude on me, or like a tawny type of peachy nude. And I can make it work. I'm not crazy about the formula. I don't think it stays on my lips that long. Very, very inexpensive. There's not much left of it, so my goal is to use as much of this as I can this month. Maybe pan it. This color, this is the shade Blushing Beige. It's very pale, as you can see, so this isn't the kind of pale that looks good on me by itself. Like, if they don't work on their own and they're in my collection and it's kind of too late to return, I will use it for other purposes and try to mix it with other colors, and actually works really well for that purpose. So we'll bring this guy in. So only two neutral pale type of shades for me this month. Skip down to the reds here. Okay, I'm gonna pull in, this is the MAC lip liner in the shade Half Red. So this isn't a bright red at all. It's more of like a nude red. I feel like I will get a lot of use out of this. I don't like how long it is. To me, that means that I haven't used it enough. So all my other lip liners are a lot shorter, right? And this is like way longer. So I kind of want them all to be the same length. I know that's really stupid, but let's bring that guy in. What I'm gonna do is leave this window open. Like, if I really feel like I want to pull out one of these reds, so be it, but I'm not gonna have it sitting on my counter all month because I just know it's gonna sit there unused most of the time. So that's that. Right, so these are my pinks, and normally I don't tend to reach in here during this time of the year. I did last year. I wore some pinks around Christmas time, but I just feel like I don't like that I haven't reached in here for a couple of months. So I think for this month, I'm going to pull in this Ulta lipstick. This is one of my favorites. This one's called Soiree, and it's a really pretty medium pink shade that I love on me. I really like how this looks. I think I'll get the most use out of that, and this is realistic for me. I'm not closing myself off. I'm not saying I'm never gonna pull in any of these guys. I won't know how I'm gonna feel, but these are going to be the ones I'm focusing on. I don't like a lot of lipsticks cluttering my dresser that I'm not going to use, so I think this is more realistic to what I actually would use and feel comfortable using this month. Yeah, I'm going to pull in a lip gloss, and I think I'm going to go with this one right here. This is the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Fortune Cookie, and this is actually my second tube of this. I really, really liked it at one point. Obviously, if I bought it twice, but I don't know. I feel like I fell out of love with it. Sometimes I like it on me, sometimes I don't, but I think I'm at the point where I do want to just kind of finish it up and use it regardless. I kind of want to move this out of my collection too at some point, so time to bring it in. For blush, I think I'm only going to pull in like one or two. I am trying to really work on my Project Pan one, so I don't want to detract from that too much. And not to mention that I think I pulled in almost every blush that I have since I started Shop My Stash, so that kind of works out. I'm going to go with, this is the Milani blush in Luminoso. It's a lot of people's favorites. I don't even know if I love it that much on my skin tone, but I've definitely said something like that before and have been surprised. So we'll pull this one in because it's the last one that I have not used in a Shop My Stash cycle since I started, so we'll give that one a shot again. I'm gonna pull in this Dusty Rose shade, actually. Yeah, this is what Dusty Rose kind of looks like. Very standard blush. It's not that special. So I kind of want to play around with this a little bit more to see how I feel about it, if it's worth keeping around any longer, because this one's pretty old. So that's what I'm pulling in for blushes this month. All right, so for bronzers, this Too Faced Beauty Wishes and Sweet Kisses. It's almost like a face palette. Let me show you. It was a gift. This is the Chocolate Soleil bronzer. I really do like it. It's matte. And this is kind of like a highlighter slash blush topper that I don't really use too much, but I think it'll actually look nice over the bronzer. That's how that highlighter kind of comes off. Not super mirror-like. And also, side note, this is probably one of the loudest palettes that I have as well. For highlighters, I do not have a ton of highlighter, which I'm very happy about. Actually, I'm gonna pull in 2 highlighters. Becca Champagne Pop one, which, I mean, do I really need to show you guys if everybody knows what this looks like? There she is. Beautiful color. And the other highlighter I want to bring in comes from this eyeshadow palette. Came in that set that I was talking about. This is the Super Fun Night palette, and this actually has a highlighter down here that I do want to use as well. Pretty pigmented. More of like a golden, I mean, you can see it, golden champagne-y shade. So I'll pull that one in too. All right, time to pick out some shadows. In case you're new here, I have a lot of singles because back in the day when I actually bought a lot more makeup, that was what was popular, believe it or not. I think I'm gonna pull in some Bare Essentials shadows. I think I'm gonna go with Gracious. Okay, Gracious is one of those colors I do not wear often at all. It looks kind of crazy because it's all like dumped out, but that's fine. You can see a faint blue-green, but it's more shimmery than it is pigmented. You know what I mean? I think that'll look really cool with the NYX glitter primer, whatever it's called. I think that'll really bring out whatever little pigment is in there. So I think that'll look really pretty for this month. I want to pull in the shade Pebble, and this one is definitely a lot more basic than that one is, but also just works. It's one of those eyeshadows that's like easy. It doesn't really look that exciting in here at all. It literally looks brown, but it's actually more on the pinkier side. I think it depends on the lighting though. It was one of my favorites, so just want to get more use out of this guy, and I think it'll go with a lot of things, so very versatile. I'm gonna pull in this silver color. So last month I pulled in the other NYX color, Girl Talk. This time I'm gonna pull in Tin. And I don't know, I think for, you know, the holidays and everything, I think this would be just a nice, cool color to play with. It is broken in there. I don't really do silver too often, but I really like this silver. Some silvers pull like a purpley type of shade, but this is like literally pure silver. I don't want to blind you, so I'm gonna put this down real quick. Okay, so far I have 3. I don't want to pull in like all these eyeshadows that are just going to sit there and get used once and clutter up my dresser. So, but I also don't want to just have 3. I'm going to pull in this Natural Beauty palette because of the bronzer in here, because I think that will be actually the last bronzer in my rotation that I haven't used in a while. So I'll pull that one in and actually try to use some of the shadows in this palette as well. I'm kind of like weary of like pulling in browns because I think after using the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette that one month, I'm like browned out kind of. If I'm in a rut or something and I really want to use this, I haven't brought this palette in a while anyway, so I might as well get some use out of these shadows. I know that's not a lot this time, but again, that's kind of by design. I don't want to pull in all these eyeshadows and only use them like once or twice. I really want to get more use out of all my eyeshadows all together, so I think that's pretty fair knowing that. So okay, I know what I can do. I can pull in this guy. This is the Lorac eyeshadow in Rhapsody. This is the same line as the Project 10 Uses eyeshadow that I brought in. So this is a very colorful eyeshadow, as you can see. This is really pretty, actually. I just want to play with it more, and it is a duochrome, much like the other one is. Very iridescent, but definitely lots of pigmentation there. So I'm going to play with this month. And I think because I don't have as many eyeshadows that I'm pulling in, I'll definitely get more use out of this than I normally would. At least that's the hope. I mean, I'll be happy, honestly, if I use this 3 times. I really would. But I don't know if I will, because again, I don't really do like bolder colors too often, but you never know. I could find different ways to play with this. So we'll pull this one in. The least amount of eyeshadows ever that I've ever brought in for Shop My Stash, but I think I definitely will get more use out of these than I would otherwise. Okay, so for eyeliners, I know for a fact I'm going to pull in this gray Rimmel eyeliner that I've had for quite some time. I haven't worn gray eyeliner in such a long time. This is one of those liners that definitely an easy one to pull out every day. I'm gonna pull in this navy blue eyeliner, this Avon one in Midnight. I feel like I'm on a blue kick right now with like some of the eyeshadows I pulled in and now like with this eyeliner. So I'm gonna keep riding that wave. I'm gonna hate blue by the end of this month. Let me see here. This is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide on Eye Pencil in the shade Binge. And this was actually travel size, definitely old. I feel like every time I used to wear it in the past, I wasn't like crazy about it. So hopefully this month we can figure it out and see if it's something I want to keep. You can see that that's the shade on the top, way brighter than the navy color on the bottom there. So that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that works out this month. I just kind of stick with the same mascara. I only have like 2.5 mascaras left. I am trying to use the last bits of this up because I do feel like this is drying out. I can't imagine there's too many days left though. So like I just kind of switch around between the three of them, but lately I've been just trying to pan this. So this Morphe pencil is relatively new to my collection. I do want to get more use out of it. I am trying to prioritize the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade. I mean, it is feeling a little bit dry. It still works right now, and I'm just trying to use it as much as I can. I've been using this like consistently for the past few months now. You don't need a lot of it. It's going to take forever. I don't think I'm ever going to actually finish this. But anyway, this is in the shade Chocolate, in case you were curious. I'm going to keep using this, but alternate this guy. Pull out this CoverGirl Simply Ageless primer. The only other primer that I have is the Primed and Peachy one by Too Faced. So I've been using that one for a little bit. I only have two, so I think I'm just gonna switch off and use this one. I do like this. It's kind of like a lotiony type of primer, which normally I don't like that, but this is tackier than those types of primers. So we're gonna bring this one in. So I kind of stick with the same powders for most of the season. So I have my Peach Perfect powder. I'm gonna keep using that. I'm gonna keep using my MAC blot powder. This is just the translucent one. So definitely want to get more use out of that. My Avon powder that I've been using. So for foundation, I have been using my brand new Catrice one. And I actually have these two, which I've been mixing together. This is kind of a little too dark for this time of year, but I mix these two together, it actually works. So I've really been liking that combination lately. Get some mad use out of this really old Sonia Kashuk Light and Stick that I almost decluttered, but I'm glad I didn't. It is old, and I don't know if that grosses you guys out, but it works for me, and I'm excited that I get to use it, and it's actually pretty functional right now. Not that exciting because I don't have a lot of foundations, so that works for now. And my one and only NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, this is my only under eye brightening concealer. So I just will keep this out always. And if I don't want to use that, I can use this. All right, time to fill up my products for the month. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoy picking out products with me. I'm really excited to see how this month goes with everything. And thank you guys so much for checking in. Hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye.